What's up, everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Hot Mic here on the Outlaw Nation channel. I am the Outlaw John Rocha, joined as always by the man who's been busting out scoops for the last few days here and for the last few weeks, months, and years, of course. That's the Sneider himself, Jeff Sneider. How are you, Jeff?
I'm good, Johnny boy. Hey now.
Hey now. Thank you all so much for joining us. We got so much to get into today. Of course, we're going to talk a little bit of the scoops that Jeff brought out earlier this week, talking about some Marvel news about Secret Wars, some Stranger Things going on. Of course, we're going to talk about the WB and Paramount merger that is possibly in play or possibly not in play, and what that might mean going forward, and maybe three things we want to see from the merger and three things or some things we don't want to see from the merger. I'm looking at you, Star Trek. And we're also going to hit that Vin Diesel story that broke just a little bit ago earlier today. Do some reviews for you for Aquaman 2, for Rebel Moon. Also hit some of these trailers and some other stories that are popping up here on the show. But you all know the three things you need to do. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe right now. Hit a like on this video right now. And if you're watching and you want to send in a Streamlabs and Superchat, do that right now. The Streamlabs address right above Jeff's head. It's pinned in the chat and in the description of this video. I see some of you already sent Streamlabs early to get things going, so we appreciate it madly. But Jeff, let's jump in. Well, first of all, you're good, you're great. Are we ready to jump in? Do you need any do you need any foreplay before we get to the sex? What you feeling right now? Are you good?
I'm great.
All right, let's go. All right, well, let's start with the Vin Diesel story, man. That's the thing that broke earlier today. This is an accusation here. He's being accused of sexual battery by his former assistant, Asta Jonasson. I hope I'm saying that right. This is courtesy of Vanity Fair. She alleges that Diesel assaulted her in September in 2010 during the production of Fast 5 in Atlanta. This was at the St. Regis Hotel after he, quote, entertained some hostesses he had brought back from a club. She claims that Diesel grabbed her wrists and pulled her onto the bed, then forced himself onto her by pushing her dress up to her waist, molested her body, running his hands over her legs, including her inner thighs. He allegedly pinned her to a wall, placed her hand on his erect penis, and masturbated while terrified. Miss Jonasson closed her eyes, trying to dissociate from the sexual assault and avoid angering him. She was fired subsequently after this assault, but she'd only been his assistant for a couple of weeks, and she was fired by Vin Diesel's sister, who runs his production company. She has signed an NDA, but because of the Speak Out Act, she is now speaking out because those NDAs are not enforceable when it comes to sexual assault or harassment. Look, we're dealing with that this week already with Jonathan Majors being found guilty. Here's another high-profile person. Jeff, you had mentioned last week or 2 weeks ago, how we might get another Me Too. Looks like we're getting one a little bit early before the turning of the calendar year. Your thoughts on these accusations and this, and what this means for Vin Diesel?
Yeah, I certainly wasn't alluding to this case, when I said that. I didn't know anything about it. There weren't any rumors or anything. I mean, not a good look if these things in this lawsuit are true, if these allegations actually happened. I definitely wonder what it would mean for Vin Diesel going forward. I mean, he stood on stage at CinemaCon earlier this year and surprised everybody by saying, oh, you thought that there was going to be one more Fast and Furious movie. Well, guess what? There's actually two.
Yeah.
So does that go back to just being one? Do we see Vin's screen time reduced in these movies? Is he actually, I mean, I don't really think you can kick him out entirely, especially given the cliffhanger at the end of Fast X. So it will be very interesting to see how Universal responds to this.
Yeah.
If they make a public statement at all.
Yeah, this is interesting because this is an actual lawsuit, right? This is beyond just accusations or claims. This is a lawsuit. You have to confront this lawsuit, deal with this lawsuit. You wonder, is their video going to come out? Is this going to go the court route? Or is Vin just going to try to settle this out of court, admit mea culpa and give them, if he did it, and, obviously pay some sort of punitive damages to her and what have you. So I'm really curious because we just saw this all play out with Jonathan Majors. And a lot of people said, hey, this is kind of a double standard, even though it didn't really apply to a lot of the double standard examples they were trying to give. This could directly apply, and even more so because Vin is the lead of this franchise. It is not like Jonathan Majors. He was the lead villain of the possible stuff coming from Marvel, but he wasn't the lead of Marvel. This is a lead here. I wonder, as you said, what Universal will do. I wonder what their reaction to this. And this is from 13 years ago. So you wonder if now is the time, if they're going to pull if they're going to make any kind of move here. And another thing to add to this is how many female actresses has he supported and like wanted to have on his films? What are they going to say in reaction to this? Michelle Rodriguez, who's been very outspoken in supporting the Me Too movement and supporting these women coming out. So you wonder what the results of all this is going to be, what the steps are they're going to take.
Yeah, I was surprised that Universal or one of like the film's production companies weren't named in the lawsuit, because this happened while they were on location in Atlanta during production of Fast 5. Yeah. So, I was actually a little surprised that there weren't more defendants named, but maybe that helps the lawsuit is to sort of keep the scope narrow. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. That way that right. You can only prove this thing right here.
Right. He did it. I can't prove Universal's negligible or the producer should have known this. I get it. You just you stick to what you can prove. So yeah, we'll see what happens here.
Yeah, and I wonder if more women will start to come out. And Vin, not really known for not having issues with people on sets. The Rock, other situations that have popped up in the past. So could be Justin Lin, could be an issue that it comes to the forefront to more and more. And look, that last Fast movie did not do well in terms of the amount of budget and the profit it brought in. So maybe this is I don't know. This is an excuse if Universal has been waiting to make an adjustment or to make a change here. Maybe this is something. Jeff and I, Jeff, you and I know this. Like, they'll say anything as long as the movies are making money. Once the movies stop making money or start losing money, all of a sudden changes start being made. Like Michael Bay, I'm sure there's a lot of shit that went on behind the scenes with Michael Bay, allegedly. But they didn't change it until the movie stopped making money or didn't do as well. So we'll see with Vin for sure.
I don't think it's fair to be like, he always seemed a bit off to me or something like that. We've also seen accusations and allegations like this, proven false. So let's see what happens here. But I certainly think that it will have to be addressed at some point.
One last thing on this,
Jeff. Keep it under the rug. Yeah.
Right, agreed. One last thing on this, Jeff. He's the voice of Groot at Marvel. Marvel just let go Jonathan Majors with this kind of a situation, with a girlfriend situation. What does Marvel do here? Does Marvel, so it's not to look like they're playing favorites, does Marvel now release Vin Diesel, or do they wait for this to play out like they did with Jonathan Majors? What do you think will happen there?
I mean, I have no idea. I think he would be very easy to replace as the voice of Groot.
You would think. Yeah. Agreed. I mean, I'm available. All right. Let's see here. All right. So let's see. What are you feeling, Jeff? What do you want to go to next? You want to jump into the Marvel stuff, the Secret War stuff? You want to wait a couple more stories?
Yeah, we might as well stick with it. We're talking Marvel.
Right. Speaking of Marvel, Jeff Sneider, please. You broke this story, so please take it away. Your thoughts, or what's your news here on Secret Wars?
I mean,
or do you want me to set you up? Do you want me to set you up, or do you want to go? You good?
Yes, dish it out. Be the assist man.
Okay, I will set it up here. I will be your Dennis Johnson. Okay, hey, listen. This was from a report from the Insnider. If you guys haven't subscribed to the newsletter, theinsnider.com, there, go and subscribe to it. Was it?
I know that newsletter.
Oh yeah, you do. According to a Film Insider, the Insnider, Jeff Sneider, Avengers: Secret Wars runtime is supposed to be a massive 5 hours. So long that the reported plan is to split the story across 2 movies. Now, this doesn't mean that we're losing the other Avengers film that was Kang Dynasty is now being called Avengers 5. What it seems to me, what you're saying, Jeff, and please clarify for me, there might be 3 Avengers movies on the way, 2 of them part of one particular Secret Wars. No. Okay, no. Tell me what's the situation there. Are they just changing Kang Dynasty to Secret Wars Part 2?
Secret Wars Part 1.
Part 1. Okay.
Right. I mean, that's effectively what is happening. That's what I was told weeks ago. That again, Kang Dynasty, they're moving away from Kang. Kang just conjures thoughts of Jonathan Majors, which conjures thoughts of him doing bad things to women. So Marvel is not looking to capitalize on that association. I always knew that they were going to rename the Kang Dynasty. It could be the exact same movie, although I highly doubt it, because I think that they're going to take it in a different direction. They're not. I don't think that they're going to recast Kang and make Kang the center of that movie, like it was supposed to be.
Right.
So they're changing. I think that was obviously supposed to lead into Secret Wars. So really, what if you just Secret Wars wraps its arms around this movie? Now it becomes Secret Wars, and it just becomes a 2-part Secret Wars movie. I mean, that's basically what we're talking about here, is a 2-part epic conclusion to the Avengers saga. I said a 5 hour. I mean, do I know the running times of these movies? No, they haven't been made. They haven't even been written. I just assumed that they would be around 2.5 hours. Maybe it ends up being a 6-hour movie. Maybe both of them are 3 hours long. Maybe both of them are 2 hours long, and it winds up a 4. I decided to split the difference and go with a 2.5 hour running time estimate for each.
Well, this is interesting because it's supposed to be in 2026. May 1st of 2026 was the release date for this Kang film, and then May 7th of 2027 was going to be the second one. So you're saying now there's going to be just those two, 2026 and 2027. Do you think
that's how it's source related? That it's basically a 5-hour movie with a year-long intermission.
Okay, so Infinity War Endgame is essentially what they're doing here, repeating what they did at the end of
exactly.
Phase.
Wouldn't you? Wouldn't you? I mean, those are two of the most successful movies of all time.
Sure, I would if I had a better buildup than the buildup is looking like right now. The buildup right now is like just falling all over the runway, as opposed to the buildup leading into Infinity War and Endgame. That was the culmination.
You think Secret Wars Part 1 will be the buildup?
No, because when we got to Infinity War, we had 20-something movies that had led us to Infinity War that were, for the most part, good to great. Some were middling, a couple were middling, but overall, very positive. People were excited for Infinity War, and the way they led to it made a lot of sense and worked. Right now, although I know Guardians of the Galaxy did well, Multiverse of Madness did a lot of money, but there's a lot of people who don't like that movie. People didn't like Lord and whatever it was, Love and Thunder. People didn't like Quantumania. Now we've got the Kang issue, and you're telling me in 2 years they're going to put out the first installment of Secret Wars? There's no way those 4 movies that are coming out in 2025 are going to do enough to repair the damage and set us back on a really strong course to be excited for a Secret Wars. I just don't know if that's possible, or I don't believe it's possible, to be honest with you.
So they shouldn't make this movie. They shouldn't make this movie because there's not a big enough run up to it. I don't.
Oh, I'm not saying they should or they shouldn't. You're asking me, does it make sense? And I'm saying I'm not as excited for it as I was going into Infinity War Endgame because the lead up was much, much better. This one feels clunky.
Who would be more excited for it? Of course, everybody was more excited for Infinity War because it had characters like Iron Man and Captain America and Black Panther and all these people who aren't around anymore.
Well, for now. There's rumors they're going to come back for Secret Wars. Like Tobey Maguire is rumored to come back for Secret Wars. Hugh Jackman for Wolverine.
I got to tell you, I'm so over it.
Which one? Which thing is over?
The whole thing. Oh, could we see this Spider-Man and this guy and this? I don't care. They need to blow up the whole fucking thing and start over with X-Men. The sooner they do that, the better they will be.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point, but how can they do that? There's now rumors going around on the social media from insiders who are saying they are committed to a Young Avengers movie. They're going to make this thing happen. And we saw the rumors this week, Jeff, that there are stories that the X-Men is going to be focused on the female X-Men members mostly, and a villain here throughout. So is that the combo that they need to be going? You're saying
aren't the X-Men movies always focused on the female characters?
No. What? Wolverine has always been at the center of all the X-Men movies. They even changed Days of Future Past, which in the comics is I think Jubilee or one of the Kitty Pryde. Kitty Pryde is the lead in Days of Future Past. They changed it to Hugh Jackman and Wolverine when they did the movie. So that tells you
Kitty Pryde just holds his head the whole movie.
Right, exactly. Ellen Page, or Elliot Page. I'm sorry, Ellen Page when they made the movie. Elliot Page now, yeah. But yeah, so this is what I think. This is why I say to you, like, I don't know. Look, I'm happy they're going to do Secret Wars, but I don't know, man. I don't know about the buildup. I don't know about where that's going to lead to, and if they're going to be able to do it correctly. I'm just not full of confidence, is what I'm saying.
I don't know what correctly means because I've never read Secret Wars. So
How about good? How about good? I don't know if they're going to knock it out of the park on this. I just have questions, man.
they made one good Avengers movie. It was the first one. The other three were not good.
Fair. So let me ask you this. How long do you think this was in motion? Do you think as soon as the accusations came around, they started working on an alternate plan for the, you said this in your newsletter that you felt like Marvel had already kind of been doing things behind the scenes, even though it seemed like they were staying quiet about everything. They were probably working on all of this behind the scenes. So this being relayed to you by an insider source, do you think this feels like this is something they planned out for quite some time and they've already started?
I think that they were spent the strike just rejiggering everything so that as soon as the strike ended, they could go get a writer to say, hey, you know, it used to be this, but now we're doing this. We're
Right.
pivoting. We're going in this direction. You know, so yeah, I think that the strike actually offered an opportunity for Marvel to pump the brakes, slow down, and just kind of focus on getting its house in order a little bit more than it had been. And I think they did, right? They got rid of the executive on Blade. Blade got a new writer. Like, oh, they made a whole bunch of moves. And now it's, you know, we're in that kind of quiet period where we got to let those writers write and let those moves play out. And then, you know, 2024, cameras will be rolling again.
Do you have an opinion about this? Do you think it'll work? Can I ask you that?
Do I think what will work? Secret Wars, or
do you think do you think it'll work? Secret Wars. Do you think they'll get
I mean, it seems like they're just going to pump it full of our, you know, all they need is like a Chris Evans cameo or, you know, something even halfway exciting and people will freak out and lose their minds and they'll forget about the last 2 years of, you know, crappy sequels. Right. All it takes is one movie like No Way Home to get everybody back aboard the Marvel train. And there's just so many people who they could pay to show. I mean, people lost their minds at fucking Kelsey Grammer coming back for that cameo. Like, are you shitting me?
Yeah, true. Which made no sense. I mean, that was on the level of Henry Cavill coming back as Superman at the end of Black Adam.
Yeah, like our 40-year-old, like who is the audience for these movies? And are they just children, no matter what age they are?
But this is my concern, and this is what I'm saying to you. Like, yeah, great. The Secret Wars is being split into 2 movies, 2.5 hours each. Great. But how can I say this? It's like you're repeating something that was great without remembering why it was great. And you think, okay, if we just repeat what we did.
That sounds like the definition of Hollywood, John. Like, what do you mean? Yes, that sounds like what every single one of them does. Repeat what someone before me did that was great with no understanding of what made it great.
I can't deny that, Jeff. I cannot deny that. Well, let me ask you a follow-up on this with the Jonathan Majors situation. For those of you who maybe are new to the show, don't know, but we did a episode earlier this week after the Jonathan Majors news broke, and Jeff and I talked about it, broke it down, gave our thoughts on everything and where it might be going. Is there any follow-up to what has happened here with the Jonathan Majors situation, with the Kang situation? There's been no comment from their camp at all over the last few days. There have been rampant rumors about people like John Boyega, people like Will Smith, which is nonsense, which you tweeted out was nonsense as well. What do you hear about any of this? Do you hear any rumblings from the people you're connected to about the Kang situation, or do you 100% believe that it's done and that character is never coming back?
I don't really see it, but again, I have not heard anything. No,
nothing.
I haven't heard anything, and I'd be skeptical of anyone who did. You know, like I mean, that's the thing. Everyone just rushes to be first or to report, like, you know, tenuous crap. I mean, you're telling me that Marvel is going to fire Jonathan Majors and then hire Will Smith, who's last seen hitting somebody in public? Like, this doesn't even, like, just use your brain, people. Use your fucking brain.
Yeah, I think John Boyega tweeted out in response to somebody a picture of Donkey from Shrek just shaking his head no. And
John Boyega's not doing it.
Yeah, no, and people are like, oh, it's because Boyega doesn't want to be part of a Marvel movie. No, it's what I told you from the beginning when I tweeted it out. There are very, very, very few Black actors who would want to step in to take this role from a member of their brotherhood because sometimes, because this evidence here, for some people, they're still processing it. They're still looking it over. They're still looking at all of it. And I don't think it behooves them to step in and take over in this situation when there are still people who are skeptical about how this case went down. So I think it's more that than anything
I don't
else.
think it has anything to do with, I think those are just big shoes to fill. Like, he's a great actor. So if you're not better than him, you're probably going to do an inferior job. I don't think
that's
it's
a good
about,
point.
respect, we got to stay strong with the black man or something like that. I don't think it's about the brotherhood.
A comparison situation. That's a fair point. It could be part of that as well. All right. Anything else we should talk about when it comes to Secret Wars or Avengers or Marvel? Anything like that right now that you've got?
No.
Why you got a smile on your face like you're holding on to something? Is there?
I'm not holding on to anything.
All right. Fine. We'll keep your Streamlabs and Super Chats coming in, folks. We're definitely going to answer them all after the first break here. But let's move on to the other big conversation we got to have here, Jeff. Warner Brothers and Paramount. This merger, you've got your finger on the pulse of Hollywood here. WB has apparently held preliminary talks with Paramount Global here, the media conglomerate that is controlled by Sherry Redstone, who is Sumner Redstone's daughter. Warner Brothers Discovery Chief David Zaslav met with Paramount Global CEO Bob Bakish on Tuesday to discuss what a merger of the companies may look like. This was in Times Square in the offices. The reports are that this was hours of conversations about this. This wasn't like sitting at the ball game and looking over cocktails and saying, it'd be fun if we kind of got together. This was a much more extensive conversation. And this is very interesting because this year, those two movie studios are the biggest movie studios by revenue. And while smaller than Warner Brothers or Universal, Paramount is still a top 5 studio most of the years recently. It's just that Warner Brothers has more debt than Paramount, but Warner Brothers has more cachet by name than Paramount. So your thoughts on this possibility? Is this a way to drive up the price with Comcast Cable supposedly being interested? What are your thoughts on all of this?
All right. There's a lot. And I would definitely recommend reading last night's newsletter and everything. First of all, Paramount's still a top 5 studio. There's 5 studios. Paramount, and Warner Brothers made the most money last year. I mean, they had the biggest movie last year because of Top Gun. Like, Paramount is normally not making more money than Disney in a given year.
True.
I mean, Paramount is definitely like, I don't know what the rush is. I think Sherry Redstone could stand to be a little bit more patient. But clearly Wall Street is putting on pressure on her to sell. And there are, like, the streamers aren't approaching her because they're basically waiting for her to go bankrupt. Like, they're just like waiting her out as they kind of just hemorrhage money. So yeah, we're talking about Warner Brothers and Universal, and the talks are with David Zaslav at Warner Brothers Discovery. Yeah. If you take a whiff, John, you may be able to smell it from down where you are.
What's that?
It's a whiff desperation coming off from Paramount.
Paramount.
From Paramount.
Okay.
From Sherry Redstone, because it seems pretty clear to me that she's the one who's leaking all of these meetings.
Wow.
And offers and all. Yes, I definitely think it's like, oh, let's leak the Redbird Skydance stuff to Puck and everything. And then, now we've got more bidders coming out of the woodwork, like Warner Brothers and maybe Universal. And I'm sure that those talks were leaked to bring out even bigger buyers like Apple, which I think Apple could stand to do something, but it may not want to. I mean, Apple may just want to be like, we're fine doing our own thing and building our own thing up here. We don't need to acquire a studio.
Right.
There are... With Universal, Universal owns NBC, right? Paramount owns CBS. So there would be government regulators would probably not go for that. If Comcast did really want everything Paramount has, they could do it, but they would have to get rid of NBC.
Yes, that's the problem there. Right.
Right. And like Warner Brothers makes a bit more, so it doesn't make sense to like combine Peacock and Paramount Plus because those are both two of the smaller streamers.
Yeah,
so it still doesn't add up to like a sort of behemoth streamer that can take on an Apple or a Netflix or an Amazon. Max and Paramount Plus, you would have maybe enough juice there.
Yeah.
So I mean, it makes sense on some levels, but on other levels, it makes no sense at all.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I talked to one source who reached out. Right. Okay. This is what they said.
Okay.
Got a source that reached out today that said they heard that Redbird and Skydance are still the odds-on favorite.
Oh,
but
wow.
that this is going to be like a long, long process. If Warner Brothers got Paramount, then Zaslav would be the CEO. Wait. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm saying, I see. Oh, no. Okay. I'm like trying to, because there's some typos here. Sorry, forgive me. Okay. So they're also saying it won't be a tech buyer because nobody wants to have to deal with like the archaic basic cable networks.
Right.
So like Sony makes more sense for Apple than Paramount because Apple doesn't want to have to deal with the CBS and all like the Comedy Centrals and Nickelodeons and all that shit, right?
Right.
This source is saying that private equity makes the most sense for Paramount. Because then they can just kind of like take what they want from the cable networks, which are, generating the most revenue, and then basically sell off the studio to David Ellison, and David Ellison can kind of do what he wants with all the IP.
Okay. But you were saying in your newsletter that you felt like Sherry Redstone should keep holding out because, I mean, look what happened with Byron Allen. By the way,
right?
Somebody needs to study Byron Allen for God's sakes. The fact that he has put together a $3.5 billion bid. Byron Allen, from like Real People, for those of us old enough to remember it, a guy who was a
billionaire,
started a conglomerate. Yeah, all these shows, and don't get me started on how he can put these shows on for very cheap. He has made his money. And so it's incredible that he is in a position of power here to be able to launch a bid for BET and a few other networks for $3.5 billion. But Sherry, I'm sensing, and what you said and what I've read at other places, she doesn't want to sell this thing for parts. She wants to sell it all at once for a big sum and then get on out of the situation. Do you sense that option is a pie in the sky option for her, or do you think it's still possible with all these other people like kicking the tires on this idea?
I mean, listen, I don't understand half this shit because it's all about Wall Street, and I don't understand Wall Street. I'm not even going to sit here and lie to you and pretend that I understand Wall Street. So it's like, does Sherry want to do what's best for her shareholders and what will benefit them the most? Or could she just be like, you know what, fuck the shareholders, and I'm going to take my money and run, and leave the shareholders sort of holding the bag? Like that, I don't know.
Yeah.
It certainly seems though, like she wants to sell. She's ready to sell. Again, this is still going to take time. These talks, the Disney Fox talks, took like a year. Warner Brothers isn't even allowed to do anything until April because they have like a 2-year waiting period. Since the last deal closed or whatever. So I feel like this was a little. I mean, I tip my cap to Axios on one hand. But on the other, I do feel like it's a little bit of like a much ado about nothing. Like it was just like an exploratory conversation. Like, hey, I think he just called Sherry and was like, hey, I saw you're talking about like selling to David Ellison. Like, well, maybe we should have a conversation. And she's probably like, you know what? Yeah, we've been talking to David, but we're open to talking to you. Why don't you go to New York and talk to Bob? And that's what happened. And so he flies to New York and goes to Paramount headquarters and sits down with Backish.
Sherry wasn't even there. Jeff. These are CEOs. Do you think they just take off and go and waste a few hours on something that's not real just for shits and giggles? Like, does this strike you as correct?
I think it's the sort of thing that you talk about in person. Yeah. I don't think it is a shits and giggles thing. I think it's a what would this look like? And also probably trying to get a little bit of information about the Skydance Redbird offer, whatever that looks like. So it may have been a little bit of a recon mission for Zaslav, but again, it would be a bold play. I mean, you can either, if you're Zaslav, this was what the newsletter was about last night. Yeah. If you're Zaslav, you can sit there and wait to be acquired by Universal, essentially. Right. And when that happens, I think this is what my source was trying to say. If that happened, Zaslav would be the CEO, but Donna would be in charge of content.
Right.
And it's like, I don't know if that is what he wants. I think he doesn't want to be the one who is acquired necessarily. He wants to be the conqueror. He wants to come in and get something. So to me, it struck me as a defensive play. If he doesn't go and buy something or acquire something, whatever it is, however you want to call it, then it will be him.
This is insane. So what does Universal do looking at what Warner Brothers is doing here with this Paramount situation? Does Universal start now increasing the level of interest in their talks? Do they start? Because I mean, I saw in a few reports that WB has hired lawyers to look into this possibility to see what's going on, or got their lawyers to look into this possibility.
Yeah, the lawyers are already being paid year round. Now it's just like, well, now we have something for you guys to do.
Yeah, let's add this.
Earn that retainer. I mean, of course, who else is going to look into it? It should be the lawyers.
Yeah, you guys are sitting on the sidelines for 4 months during those strikes. Now you're going to earn your money. Go and look at all this. But what does Universal do when you're looking at all this? Like, you're looking at someone who you want, or rather a company you want to acquire, and the company's trying to take on more debt and acquire another company, which makes them maybe not as attractive. So do you start to move up these plans to acquire Warner Brothers here in this situation, seeing what they're doing, or do you wait for this all to play out, or do you know better?
That is the question. It's like, if you're Universal, you don't have to wait until April to make a move like Warner Brothers does.
Right.
Plus they have money burning a hole in their pocket.
Right.
What is that? What is that money? Do you know?
No, I don't. What? Tell me.
The check from for Hulu.
Oh, right.
Yes, Disney just gave them billions of dollars for the rest of Hulu or whatever, and there's more coming. So, does Comcast decide to use that money to go buy Paramount or whatever? I don't know how these guys think. I'm not a titan of industry. I can see how some things align and some things don't. I mean, like, Paramount Viacom, has the NFL, right? Yeah. So believe me, that they would definitely be interested in something like that. Just like Universal would love to get its hands on NBA rights that Warner Brothers has.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot that goes into this because there's a lot of franchises that could be affected by this, right? Like Mission Impossible, Transformers, The Godfather. There are quite a lot of franchises. Star Trek that could be.
There's a lot of IP hanging in the balance, but when we say like franchises that could be like affected by it, like how?
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, we saw if Zaslav was to take control of Paramount, obviously Star Trek is a big IP. What would he do with Star Trek? Now, some people
assume he do something.
Yeah, well, some people push back on me on when I tweeted about this yesterday and said, like, well, he put James Gunn in charge of DC. Well, the other people who were in charge suggested James Gunn and Peter Safran, and Zaslav approved it. So great, he's in on it. But that doesn't mean necessarily that he's going to be the right person to find the right people to be in charge of Star Trek, considering what he's done with a $30 million movie, a $90 million movie. Like, the ability to cut these things, I think, unsettles me. Plus, he's taking on more debt.
I don't understand what you're saying. You think he's going to cut Star Trek?
Yes, I think he would cut and run. I think if it doesn't show
cut
properly,
and run from what?
Drop it from
There's nothing going on right now. There's nothing going on with Star Trek right now. There's a bunch of TV shows that only nerds watch. Sorry.
You know what? Blow me. I watch it, and it's totally fine to enjoy Star Trek, for fuck's sake. And newsflash, everything we're talking about is the only thing nerds watch. Okay, let me put it out on the table. The second thing is
but Star Trek is for real nerds.
No, for God's sakes. I just worry where it's going to lead to in all of this, because it's, like I said, they already have debt. They're going to take on more debt. Are they going to go through cost-cutting measures? Because Paramount was set to drop 1,000 jobs and cut costs on their end because they've got some debt they're carrying. So will this increase even more of Zazov's ability to cut? Like, is he Richard Gere and Pretty Women?
I don't understand. Star Trek's not costing them any money. It's an asset. Why would he acquire Paramount and then get all these assets and then not put the assets to work? That's a property that should be making money for him.
Well, I mean, it didn't stop him from cutting a Batgirl movie. It didn't stop him from
He didn't think that would make money for him.
Looney Tunes movie?
Didn't think that would make money for him.
Who is he to judge that?
He's the boss. Who is he to judge? He's the guy who runs the fucking numbers. He's the guy who knows. He's the guy who knows. Yeah, it does not make sense for me to spend another $40 million marketing a fucking Looney Tunes movie for a platform, Max, that fucking kids aren't watching.
Right. But I'm gonna put out a Flash movie. Is that gonna make dick? I'm about to put on Aquaman 2 movie.
You didn't know that. How is he supposed to know? What are you talking about? What are you talking about today?
I'm saying you can call into question his judgment. That's my overall fucking point.
Sure, a lot of people smarter than both of us have called into question his judgment.
Sure,
that's my. I am on the other side of things that says these are necessary moves, and believe me, if he put out Batgirl and he put out Looney Tunes and those movies tanked, which I almost guarantee they would have, then we'd be calling into question his judgment.
Yeah, fair point. But if they didn't, then we wouldn't, would we? We'd have faith in him. We'd believe in him. We'd like what he was doing.
He's given you nothing to believe in. He just hasn't given you a reason to believe yet. But he hasn't fucking his slate. It doesn't come out till 2025, John.
Yeah. Well, what if Universal?
All these things that you're judging him on, he hasn't even done.
Well, he has done. Well, fair. But the thing
he didn't make a shitty Batgirl movie.
Right, but I'm judging him on his actions. That's things that he has done with the content. He's decided to release some content and not release other content. Those are actions. So I'm judging him by his actions and his tastes, his taste-making ability, or his taste abilities here.
If a studio makes 16 movies a year, don't you think that maybe one of those movies is bad and and it probably would help the studio to just throw it away? We're all 16. Well, we made them, so we should release them all, no matter what.
I'm not a fan of throwing away movies that have been made.
Are you a fan of throwing away $40 million instead?
No. Well,
this is the job. It is a job. It is a tough job where you make unpopular decisions, and that is why he was using that word courage, right? It takes courage to make the decisions that I have. Again, we agree that was not the right word.
No, it wasn't.
As a businessman, I think that he's making shrewd decisions that need to be made.
We have no idea how Batgirl would have done. We have no idea how it would have caught on. We had no idea if it would have been done well. We have no idea, right?
Did you see the thing about her reps, about Leslie Grace's reps?
No. What happened? Tell me.
They didn't fight it.
Oh, okay. So they felt it was a bad movie too?
They didn't fight it because I believe that this was an article I read this past week. I don't know if they were quoted as saying this, but it was like, it doesn't behoove them to have CAA clients in shitty movies.
Interesting. Okay. All right. So you're saying they might have seen the movie or reps is what you're saying.
Sure, maybe. Again, I just like anyone who thinks that this Batgirl movie was going to be awesome, right? And it was going to it was just going to print money is like delusional and shouldn't be running.
And I'm not saying that. I'm saying it had a right to come out and possibly do well. It had a right
to come out and possibly lose the studio tens of millions of dollars.
Shit, and it made $875 million fucking dollars. Venom.
I wish we could live in a world with alternate dimensions and alternate universes, and we could see just how many people would have lost their jobs at Warner Brothers had the studio released that flaming pile of crap.
I don't think a lot of people lost their jobs off a smaller film that was released that isn't a like mainstream legacy character. And that's ridiculous. You're trying to put it up there with Superman or fucking Batman. It's nowhere near that. You put out a Robin movie, you expect that to do good as Batman as well as Batman? Come on. It's a different
$90 million movie. Got to spend 45 to market it. Now you're 135 deep.
Sure. I hear what you're saying. But we got The Flash. We got Aquaman 2. Those two came out and did nothing. So just saying.
John, the people who worked on the movie, I know it sucks that they didn't get to have their work shown. Were they paid for that work?
They were paid, but they won't get residuals and they won't get extra stuff. And that's the truth. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Which is a shame.
Did a job, got paid for it. Welcome to America. I wish I was so lucky.
You have been that lucky. And when you've been unjustly fired, you have lit up social media about it. So what's the difference?
None of these people were fired.
their work wasn't seen, or their work was buried, or imagine someone trying to bury some of your articles.
I would love to have the $16,000 that my boss owes me and have him delete every article I wrote the last year.
What?
I would rather do that. I would
Why
rather
would you
have
want
my
your
work
content
deleted
erased?
and get the money. That's why we do this.
All right, fair enough. All right, should we stop on this? Oh wait, do we wanted to talk about 3 things you want to see from this merger if it happens? Do you even want to entertain that? Because it sounds to me like you don't even think it's going to happen.
I don't really think it'll happen, but
okay.
I mean, like 3 things. I mean, yeah. I mean, do you have 3 good things to share?
Guys, I'm woke. I'm so woke. Get out of the room. I'm woke. Get on out of the room.
It has nothing to do with being woke, guys.
I know. We're talking business, man.
Right.
You dumb fuck.
Did you come up with a list of things or no?
Yes. I would love to see a Godfather prequel series. And Cheo Hodori Coker tweeted out the same thing, that he said, if this merger happened, I'd love to write a Godfather prequel series or a Godfather series.
Now, but like, why can't he do that now? You know, Paramount owns the
I don't know.
Godfather. They have a streaming service. I guess that's the thing. Like, and I know I gave you that assignment.
Maybe he felt there's more money if you go the WB route. There's more chance for it being a higher budgeted type of thing that would rival what Coppola did with those first 2 films, and kind of the 3rd film. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just like, are we talking about like combining franchises? Like, I don't get it. You know?
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. What's your next? Do you have anything?
No, I didn't do it.
You texted me.
I know.
And said, fine. I think a Top Gun series that is set at the Top Gun Academy. So you kind of follow these crew of people in a series as they learn to be jet fighter pilots, and maybe you have Tom Cruise pop in as a cameo. Maybe you get John Hamm back to do a little bit of a what do you call it? A returning character over and over again, recurring character rather. And so,
yeah, I mean, it's a good idea, but it could happen now. It has nothing, you know, like they don't need a merger to do that. But I get, you know, what you're saying.
You know what?
Yes,
I'm not going to
put more resources.
If you're just going to shit on all my ideas, I'm just going to put them all away. Then, you know, if you don't want to play, you know. You sack of shit. All right, let's take
a break.
All right. On the other side, we're going to answer some of your Streamlabs and Super Chats. I fucking told you I was going to do a spicy one today. We'll be right back right after this. All right, Jeff, let's hit some of these Streamlabs and Super Chats that have come through. Francisco Lopez says, like Rebel Moon is out today. I have to say this. I like Zack Snyder films, but I'm tired of the Zack Snyder's director's cut BS. Why the F can't he just tell a complete story in a film? Also, why announce there's a director's cut 6 months before the movie comes out? That just makes me not want to watch Rebel Moon and wait for the director's cut. Jeff, your thoughts on this?
I think Francisco speaks for me as well. I took it off my my coming soon list, and I'm not going to watch it.
Okay.
Not gonna. I mean, and again, I thought this movie looked good, but between the reviews and the fact that there may be another version floating out there, and that this one feels unfinished, it's like, you know what? I'm not even gonna fucking waste my time. I'll wait a year, and if there's another version, great. And if there's not, I'll just go watch Rebel Moon then.
Yeah, I thought it was an odd strategy to say that you had a director's cut of a film that hadn't even come out yet. That just seemed odd to me. And now Zack Snyder's comments recently, I think yesterday or 2 days ago, was like, there's a different cut of this movie, and it's a completely different movie. So I'm not sure what the logic is. And I saw some people accusing Netflix of trying to manufacture what happened with Warner Brothers that was organic, where the Snyder people got together and pressured Warner Brothers into making his version of Justice League. And if that was the case, that's a confounding misstep to do that, because you can't create something. It's like trying to make a video intending for it to go viral. It never ever fucking goes viral. It's just something that you can't do. That being said, I liked the movie for what it was, and I enjoyed it. And are there scenes missing that you can tell are missing? Yes. Is there more storyline stuff that could be fleshed out with some of the characters when they come together with this Seven Samurai situation? Absolutely. But for what we got, I enjoyed it, and it made me look forward to the director's cut. It made me look forward to see what more we're going to get from this world. Because what this is do you like this world? And if you like this world, hold on, there's more coming. So that's the way I look at it. Now, some of you may disagree, and it's clearly Jeff disagrees, but I enjoyed it, and I think it was great. And I'm a Snyder head, and I liked it. Doesn't mean I like everything, because I didn't like BVS, I didn't like Sucker Punch, but I do like this movie, and I'm not surprised that a bunch of critics and reviewers didn't like it. I mean, he, for whatever reason, he has become the nerd writer's target to throw their darts at. Maybe his films are too hyper masculine or whatever, or too obsessed with certain things. But that's the way it is when you go with Zack.
So you think I should give this movie a shot? That it is complete? Yes. That I would enjoy it?
It is a complete movie. It absolutely is a complete movie.
Doesn't feel like someone just came in and took some scenes out and is saving them for director's cut.
No, well, I don't know if I can say that, because I would say that there are scenes missing with certain name actors that you are like, wait, there should be more here. And you, in your head, know there's a director's cut coming. So in your head, I think, at least what I said in my head is, okay, I guess I'll see more of that. But what the movie is an enjoyable film for me. So, yeah.
Do you think I'm better off waiting for a director's cut, or do you think this movie's good enough to sustain multiple viewings?
Do you know when the director's cut is coming?
Oh.
Then watch the fucking movie. What's the big deal? You don't know when it's coming. So why would you wait around for something phantom that you don't know what's coming when you can watch something right now? Yeah. Just throwing it out there. Empire Fan 1980 says, you guys talk about Reacher season 2, but fun fact, Alan Ritchson played Aquaman in Smallville, and Serinda Swan played Zatanna in Smallville also as well. Oh, I did not know that with Zatanna. But they're both Canadian actors, so it kind of makes sense since Reacher is a Canadian or shot in Canada. I remember they asked him, like, do you want the film to, like, the subsequent series to be set in different countries? There's a recent interview with him this week, and he said, it doesn't matter. It's all in Toronto. And you can set it wherever you want to set it. We're shooting it in Toronto. So I thought that was really funny. But yeah, Richardson playing Aquaman and Zatanna there for Zorinda. What are your thoughts on this, man? Oh, Reacher, highest viewed Amazon Prime Video series, Jeff. Your thoughts on that?
In just 5 days, by the way, which is like, geez. What is everybody else watching the rest of the year on Amazon that like didn't get as many views as this show got in 5 days? I didn't watch Smallville. It seemed like that show ran forever.
Yeah, 10
so I'm not surprised that two actors met on it prior.
Yeah. Empire Fan 19 says Disney can't seem to catch a break this year. Yeah, I think people are. How can I say this? I think people
make your own breaks, son.
Yeah,
and catch a break. What are we? Disney needs to catch breaks now. What are they? Some indie filmmaker?
There you go. Mr. Penguin says, happy holidays, guys. Just a fun idea. Do you think a Pirates of the Caribbean style film could work as a Western/cowboy film? Well, I think everything could work as a Western/cowboy film. But Jeff, but I'm biased. So what do you think, Jeff?
No.
No, you don't think it could work?
I mean, I wouldn't have guessed that Pirates of the Caribbean would be like a 6-movie franchise or 5 movie. I don't even know how many fucking movies there are. But no, I feel like that's kind of like what Monsters vs. Aliens. They tried that a little bit. Okay. I mean, that was a long time ago. I'm sure, but like, let's see how these Costner Westerns perform first. Horizon 1 and Horizon 2. Let's see how those go over before we start doing $200 million cowboy movies.
Yeah, I wouldn't sink $200 million into a cowboy movie.
Lone Ranger.
Yeah. Which I
didn't even see that.
I don't mind Lone Ranger. I don't think it's great. I understand the criticism, but I certainly don't mind it. And the Depp stuff, I understand people getting upset about that, but it wasn't that bad of a movie, in my opinion. Shout out to the Cannibal. Let's see what's the next one that we've got here in commentary. Kaiser says, with Secret Wars not being 2 parts, will Doctor Doom be the main villain in both films like Thanos in the last 2? If so, this is the most important Marvel casting for years to come. Killian Gosling. Yeah, Jeff, a lot of people have been talking about the Doctor Doom pivot. We certainly talked about it in our Geek Buddies conversation about this earlier this week. So what do you hear? Anything you're hearing? Have your ear to the ground? Are you hearing that the Doctor Doom pivot is coming? We've talked about Gosling for months on this show, even though people are somehow reporting it as new news. What are your thoughts on this?
I haven't heard anything as far as casting goes. I do think that Doom will have will be introduced earlier and have a bigger role than he was maybe initially supposed to have.
Okay.
But do I'm not. I can't sit here and say he's going to be the main villain in both movies. I don't know that. I have no idea. Yeah, I mean, it certainly right. It certainly seems like Cillian Murphy and Gosling are the names that are being bandied about the loudest for Doom, along with, I guess, Mads Mikkelsen. I think that those are all, those would all be good calls.
I like the name Mads. Who do you think she would have the most chemistry with, Vanessa Kirby? Gosling, Cillian Murphy, or Mads?
This is with regards to what? For Doom? They need to have chemistry together, Sue Storm and Doom?
Okay, there's rumors that they're going to have a love triangle in the film, that it's going to be Reed and Doom. They've had a past history with her. There's a love situation. Kind of like what they did with the X-Men, with Jean Grey wanting both Cyclops and Wolverine. So who do you think she'd have more chemistry with?
Gosling.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, I don't really think of Cillian as like a kind of hunky stud guy. I know he cleans up all right, but I don't know. Oppenheimer.
Tommy Shelby.
All the romance scenes were stiff.
Pepper Rivera, this Fool on Hulu hasn't been renewed. Is it done? God, I hope not. I love this Fool. Have you seen this Fool?
I actually have seen a few episodes of this Fool, and I really did like it. It was quite good. I don't know if it's done. That's a tricky one. I'm surprised it hasn't been renewed. I would have sworn that it was. It seems like a relatively cheap show to produce. But like I said, I do think that unfortunately, with all these cutbacks coming, it will be shows like this Fool that are on the chopping block. These kind of like diverse shows, which is a bummer, because that one certainly earned its place.
Yeah, I love both seasons. If you guys haven't seen this Fool, you should watch it. It's actually really, really good. And I forget the comedic's name was the lead. He is so good in that show, and great stuff there with Moltisanti there, Michael Imperioli in the show as well. Yeah, they just canceled Shining Vale. Speaking of small shows that are and they just took it off the service completely. And apparently the creator's writing a season 3 already, but trying to sell it someplace else.
That's what happens when nobody's watching.
Yeah.
And I mean, listen, you're stars, so nobody's watching anyways.
John Lee says Wall Street didn't like the thought of a merger between WB and Paramount, as both of their shares went down on the news yesterday. Yeah, Jeff, is that an indicator? Even more so this isn't going to happen, or is this just no big deal?
Again, I don't understand Wall Street. So like, I don't understand how like in the span of like, the news broke at like 1 and like the market, I guess that was like 1 PT. So the market, it's like 4:00 on the East Coast. So like in the span of an hour, people, read enough hot takes and went through everything and decided. I just like Wall Street makes no fucking sense to me. I don't know what these fucking people want. And I don't know why Hollywood cares. I mean, that's why Hollywood.
What are you talking about?
Well, I know that, and that's why Hollywood is where it is, because Hollywood let in the tech people, and they just let VCs fucking make decisions and shit. Like,
absolutely,
what the fuck?
Yeah, there's a great sit-down interview with the I can't remember the woman's name, but she used to be one of the managing editors over at the Hollywood Reporter, I believe, and she was on Scripps Daily speaking about this merger last night. If you guys can find that audio, she broke it down really well.
Kim Masters.
No, it wasn't Kim. I wish it was Kim. I know Kim. Empire Fan 1980 says they did a top 100 best shows ever, and number 1 was I Love Lucy. I'm surprised I didn't expect the new generation to have known it or seen it. Look, that list is a travesty on so many levels, but that's the game when you make a list. As a guy who is seasoned in making lists every fucking week for 7 years, it's what you deal with. It's always about personal taste, and you can bring in all the people you want, but in the end of the day, people are going to have issues with your lists. Sex and the City is nowhere near a top 10 show ever, which is
why is I Love Lucy a bad call?
No, I'm not saying I Love Lucy's a bad call. I love that. Desi Arnaz, Lucio Ball, it's great. It's a nice, safe call. You get a woman lead. You've got a Latino guy. It's a nice, safe call for variety to put I Love Lucy number 1. Are you going to tell me you're going to put on I Love Lucy or Pine Barrens? Which one are you putting it on? Are you putting on the Vita Vita Vegemin or are you putting on motherfucking Pine Barrens? You know what you're putting on. The Sopranos episode. There's the differences here. You think I'm wrong?
No, I think that. Listen, to me, as far as 1 hour, I don't understand really how you can compare.
They mixed everything in.
Comedy. I know they did.
Yeah.
I do think Sopranos is the greatest television show of all time.
Yeah.
But like, how are we going to look at it 40 years from now? Like, I Love Lucy still holds up. That physical
100%.
comedy still holds up. I can't blame Variety for that particular choice and going with Lucy at number 1.
I know. I'm not going to fault the number 1, but as you go down the list, it becomes more and more confounding. Are you going to tell me that Enlightened is the 37th best show ever? Are you fucking insane?
Yes. I mean, let me put it clearly. And anyone who's like a TV critic probably is fucking insane.
I mean, the Civil War documentary from PBS, the fact that even appeared on the list, great, but there's no effing way that Civil War doc is 28th. That show, that doc changed everything for documentaries. That Civil War documentary changed everything. That and Hoop Dreams, you can count on one hand how many documentaries changed documentaries. Errol Morris's The Thin Blue Line. Those documentaries changed documentaries. That, if you're going to include it, belongs much higher on your list than fucking 28th. People still go back. It is still the highest rated thing on PBS whenever they rebroadcast it. So just questions all around on how they put this all together.
I mean, I'm more upset about the top 10 list this season, not just TV, but film as well, and how they're all the same. It's all because people just watch the same shows. They just say, oh, I'm supposed to watch this show. This is the hot show. I'm supposed to watch this show. I'm going to watch this show. And that's how we get every fucking list. Same 10 shows. I did my top TV shows last night. Did the list completely fucking different than every other list I've seen. Same with my movie list. Is it just that I think differently, that I am attracted to different material? I don't think so. I think it's just people are boring.
Yeah. I mean, how you put Mad Men at number 2 over The Sopranos, over Breaking Bad, and over The Wire? Mad Men.
I did see that. That drove me nuts.
Well,
there's no fucking way Mad Men's better than The Wire. Get the fuck out of here. People are crazy.
I think this was carefully curated by someone who's in charge of this. Yes, you brought in like all these female critics, Latino, Clayton is Latino. You brought in all these people, black critics to weigh in. I saw Jazz was on here as well. And so it's great. People I respect and admire their opinions. But I also think someone was in charge and was like, okay, let's put this one here. What's going to get us the least shit from the woke readers of Variety? So to use a term, let's play it that way. And so I just think this list really reflects that, because some of these decisions are confounding on so many levels, man. That's just my opinion. All right. All right. Daniel Elmsby says, "Hi guys, do you know anything about the ping pong movie that Chalamet hinted at being a part of?" Anything, Jeff?
Balls of Fury 2.
Let's make it.
Timothy Chalamet is playing one of the ping pong balls. Someone's just going to be smacking him around.
So basically, Jeff's saying he doesn't.
No, I don't know. I don't know anything.
Eddie Aletti says, "Is Severance done at Apple? Favorite show last year?" Yeah, we haven't seen or any call for a second season. What's going on here, Jeff? Do you hear anything?
It's shooting. It's definitely coming out in 2024. Yeah. Okay. It ran into a bunch of issues though with like scripts.
Okay. All right.
Like I'm pretty sure they like wrote 2 or 3 and then ripped them up.
Wow. His other show did not do quite as well. High Desert, that one got canceled after 1 season, unfortunately. I liked that.
Yeah,
Geeky Lawrence 2007 said, "Hey, gents, I don't usually interact too much on the channel, but I'm a regular fan. Just wanted to say happy holidays to you both and to a great 2024. You're both very engaging as entertainment scoopers and commentators. Cheers."
Happy holidays to you, Geeky Lawrence.
Ditto. Ronan Unchained says, "Hi, John and Jeff. Love the hot mic. Keep up the good work. Hope you do a live show one of these days. Maybe a Comic-Con. Rocha, play The Last of Us on Twitch." I will. Jeff, that could be fun. You and I, Comic-Con. I don't think they let us through the door to have a panel, but I would love to do that, my man.
What do you have to do to have a panel?
We submit.
Pixie have to suck?
We submit. We pay the fee, and if they approve us, we can get. Yeah, you have to pay a fee. Yeah, of course. What's wrong?
So you have to pay a fee, but then you can like sell shit there, or like
sure if you wanted to
autograph or whatever. Okay,
sure, absolutely.
Wild. I've never been to Comic-Con, but again, this may be the year because The Crow is coming.
Joel Davis says, any Star Wars news or rumors to end the year with, Jeff? Anything you know?
Yes.
Oh, are you going to break it on here? I can't hear you, man. No one can hear you, man. Did you mute your? Yeah, there you go, Mr. Technology over here.
You missed the whole joke.
Well, yeah, did totally.
Never mind. The moment's passed. No, I don't have anything for Star Wars.
Oh, you son of a bitch. Josh Mabry says, favorite new Christmas movie that came out this year. Jeff, do you have one?
Favorite new Christmas movie that came out this year?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
What came out this year? Now, you mean Christmas themed movie or Christmas coming around Christmas time?
For this question, but I will say that I watched The Family Stone again this week.
Okay.
What a bizarre movie.
Okay.
I mean, the end of this movie where the couple, I mean, they break up and then one fucks the brother, one fucks the sister. It's crazy to me.
Yeah.
Nowadays.
I would say The Holdovers, right? That's a Christmas movie. It happened over Christmas, the Christmas holiday.
Good answer.
But I will say I liked Candy Cane Lane. So if any of you are looking to have a movie on that's not going to take too much of your attention while you're wrapping gifts or you're hanging around having some eggnog with family members and whatever, put on Candy Cane Lane. A very sweet, fun film, trying to have a little bit of darkness, horror to it, but stays above board to still be a family film. So, and Eddie was damn good in it. So that's one I would recommend to you all. Let's see here. Hey guys, Jeff. Oh, this is Alan. Oh wait, hold on. Sorry. This one's from Bash the Stampede. Hey y'all, you guys are the best. You guys were talking about Christopher Abbott last week, and I could see him playing Batman for the DCU. Thoughts? He's the same age as Pattinson, but I feel like they can portray him as an older, more seasoned Batman. He's good. Jeff, your thoughts?
Abbott would be playing an older, more seasoned Batman?
Yeah, maybe.
Abbott's a young guy.
Yeah.
They are very much contemporaries. I don't see it.
Okay. Fair.
No, I don't see. He's too little. He's a little guy, Chris Abbott. From what I remember. I mean,
Chris Abbott. All right. JC says, okay, go ahead.
Make a good Bruce Wayne, but I can't see him in the cowl.
All right, fair enough. JC says, is there really an advantage to not putting stuff out in theaters and sending straight to streaming? Isn't it always better to recoup some of the investment and get word out through theater showings than exclusively have the film on a particular service?
No, because you're not just recouping your investment. You have to shell out money to get people in the theater. You have to let them know that the movie is playing in the theater. If you could just throw it in theaters, then you'd be okay. But the problem is you have to shell out, depending on how big the movie is. You have to shell out a marketing budget that lines up with that. So if you're making a $90 million movie, you're going to end up spending $45 million on marketing, and it's like, well, then you have a $135 million movie, and you probably wouldn't have greenlit it in the first place at that price.
There you go. JC also says, Alan Richardson can definitely do comedy. Watch Blue Mountain State. Granted, I saw that in middle school and it was a raunchy show, but remember him being the comedic standout. Yeah, someone yelled at me about this on one of the comments. They're like, Rocha, you haven't seen Blue Mountain. It's like, it was on a syndicated show on a syndicated channel when 30 other shows were out at the same time.
You haven't seen every show and every movie starring every actor ever? Jesus Christ, what's wrong with you?
I know, guys. Give me a break, guys. Come on. Vash the Stampede says, my fan cast for Jor-El and Laura Van are real-life couple Daniel Craig and Rachel Weisz. Ooh, thoughts? James Gunn has stated Kurt Russell is too old to be a father of the firstborn for his soups. Pacino has entered the chat. LOL. Anyways, any fan casts for them, for Superman's parents?
I like that one.
Craig and Weisz? Yeah, I kind of like that.
I do. I do like that. I like that she's Jewish.
He's
Jewish
still kind of
mother?
old, though, isn't Daniel Craig? He's like 50.
How? But and
55. Well, because he was saying he wanted someone who was a first-time dad and does,
I see.
you know. But I like the idea. Don't get me wrong. I like the idea. I just don't know that he's going to go that route.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
I like the idea of a real life husband and wife, though.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm down with that. Sure. Krasinski and Emily Blunt. That would be interesting.
Ashton and Mila.
What? Who?
Ashton and Mila.
You don't want an unwashed Kal-El being put in a thing as it flies to Earth? Come on. The smell alone. Alan Smithy says, hey guys, Jeff, isn't it true that Frank Darabont had anger issues on The Walking Dead and publicized emails where he berated crew members in threatening ways? Isn't that part of why he doesn't make movies anymore? Those emails are on his IMDb page. Yeah, let's go into that here before we take another break, Jeff. Stranger Things, you talked about this. You broke this as well this week, talking about how Frank Darabont is in talks to direct 2 of the episodes, or is it locked down that he's directing 2 of the episodes? What do you have on news for this?
Just what I reported, basically. Yeah, Darabont has had some issues in the past. He hasn't really worked in the last decade, but it's not like, I mean, I'm not sure when those emails came out, when they were publicized, but he created a TNT show after leaving Walking Dead. It's not like it was just he left Walking Dead and never worked again.
True.
He did have that one other TV show, and he's been doing uncredited screenwriting passes,
Oh, really?
For the past decade or whatever, because he's one of Hollywood's biggest script doctors.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he also
The Mist. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead. Yeah.
The Mist was a while ago.
Mob City is what he did after that. Mob City, right?
Exactly. But he's a great director. I mean, guy did Shawshank Redemption and Green Mile, and again, those are both based on Stephen King stories. So is The Mist. Right. I mean, Stephen King, a clear influence on the Duffers. So you'd think that they would be familiar with Darabont's work as well. They're both repped at the same agency at CAA. So maybe it was like a case of, it's like, okay, the Duffers, when you look at past seasons of Stranger Things, they do at least half the season, and then Sean Levy does an episode or 2, and then they bring in an outside director to do 1 to 3 episodes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that's been last season. It was Nimrod Antal. They've done Rebecca Thomas, Andrew Stanton, and Uda Brizowitz is the other one. Yeah. So I'm hearing that Darabont will be the other 2. Okay. It seems like the perfect comeback vehicle for the guy to sort of get back into, the industry. I mean, it's television. It's a big show. It speaks, to his sensibility somewhat. Yeah. I'm trying to think right. There's the Trachtenberg of it all. So my source, I'd asked around about who may be directing the season. And they mentioned Trachtenberg, and then I realized after publishing that Netflix actually announced Trachtenberg to Dumb, whatever, this summer. The thing is that after I published my report, someone reached out, who more or less confirmed the Darabont stuff, but was like, as for like Trachtenberg, I don't think that worked out, for whatever reason. It may have been a strike-related delay, and maybe Trachtenberg, has a movie lined up, and so now he can't make the time. I don't know, but he didn't respond to a request for comment. But from my understanding is, even though Netflix did announce him as directing an episode, I don't think that he's doing one. Okay.
Lou says, happy holidays, John Rocha and Jeff Sneider. Love the show. Have a happy new year. Thank you, Lou.
Yeah. Thanks. You too.
Jake says, thoughts on instead of having Magneto in Marvel Studios' X-Men film, Kevin Feige is reportedly looking to make a Brotherhood of Mutants film. This is via at Daniel RPK. Yeah, Daniel Rickman. Yeah, sure. I mean, I think that would work. Aren't we kind of Magnetoed out? So a Brotherhood of Mutants film could be interesting, but Magneto would still be the leader of the Brotherhood of Mutants. So you would still have Magneto be the villain. And I'm speaking because Jeff hasn't read a comic book in his life. So what do you think, Jeff? Do you think this works?
I don't even know. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what the Brotherhood of the whatever is. I don't know any of this shit.
There you go. I am too like Cam says, LOL Jeff, who was losing their minds about Kelsey coming back for Beast. The 12 people saw that crappy Marvels movie. Come on, if Paramount does merge with WB, they should give us Shrek versus Batman. Oh, Jesus. No one wants that. First Rate Night says, just wanted to send my support. You guys are great. Thank you, First Rate. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Let's stop here. Let's take another break, Jeff. We'll jump into some more stuff. We got so much to get into here on the other side of this right after this. All right, let's hit these trailers just to knock them out, Jeff. We had EXPATS, the Nicole Kidman trailer, starring one of my friends, Saryu Blue, who plays her friend in the movie there. You see in the trailer. We had There Goes Bleeding, the new one from Kristen Stewart.
Love Lies Bleeding. That
Love
looked
Lies
really
Bleeding. Yeah. And then we had one more trailer, the Spaceman trailer that was a teaser for Adam Sandler, which looked pretty cool. So what do you think about Love Lies Bleeding and EXPATS and Spaceman?
Well, before I get into that stuff, I think I want to address Princess Positive in the chat. It's the assholery and smug disdain about those properties that really irks me. You're welcome to go Princess Positive. There's a lot of YouTube channels out there who will go talk to you about Secret Wars or all the comic books about X-Men. I mean, shit. What do you want from me? You want me to be? Oh my! I'm so excited! I can't wait to see who plays Magneto in a storyline I've never read. I can't fake it. This is just me fucking giving it to you straight, Princess Positive. I don't give a shit.
Let me clean up what he said, Princess Positive, in that he said there's other shows you can go to, not other channels, because we talk about that. And the other show you can go to on this channel is the Geek Buddies, if you want to hear about that kind of stuff. So, yes. Okay. Now,
do you want me to lie? Do you want me to sit here and lie to you?
They just want you to care. They love you. They want you to care about the things they care about because they love you. It's a compliment. Read through the criticism.
I appreciate it, but it's like I can't.
I know.
How do you care about that? I mean, I'm a 40-year-old guy. I like Ghostbusters because I liked it as a kid. I can't get into a new franchise. It's too late for me. There's no hope.
I'm still getting the new franchise at my age, so kiss my ass. All right, trailers.
Single. All in the games is there's a reason Jeff's single. Oh my God. If she was watching right now, she would tear you a new asshole.
Yeah, Jeff is not single, guys. So anyway, Jeff, go. Trailers, God damn it.
Love Lies Bleeding looked like it had like a really good energy. It looked super visual. Yeah. Katie O'Brien looked fucking amazing.
Oh my God, yeah.
Ed Harris. Woo!
Wow, we're in that Ed Harris phase of his career where he's playing these kinds of really unsettling motherfuckers, man. That film looks great from A24.
Yeah, I think it looks interesting. Definitely better than some of the other stuff that Kristen normally brings up to Sundance. And it's nice to see Dave Franco. I've always liked David Franco on screen. Yes. I was not expecting him in this trailer, and I like seeing him.
Yeah, I liked him more than fucking Zach in Neighbors. So yeah, Dave is always great. Oh my God.
Jeff is a Grinch about nerd stuff. Look at his shirt. What does this mean?
Will you stop?
What does it mean, Rocha? I was just like, I know these people aren't paying to have their comments read, but it's like
he's saying that you're wearing green, so therefore you're a Grinch. That's what he's saying. So
I can't make these leaps.
Just ignore them. Let's keep going. You tell me all the time to ignore it, and here you are leading into it. So go ahead.
Fine. I'm moving. I'm going to the private.
What about space? What about Spaceman? Did you like the 25 seconds we got from that? Really interesting.
Hey, 25 seconds. I put that in the newsletter for 5 seconds and I took it out because it was like, what am I supposed to say about this?
Yeah.
It's a weird movie. I mean, I never understood it. I kind of was just looking forward to it because it's from Johan Renck, who did Chernobyl, which to me is the best television show of the last God knows how many years.
Didn't even make the top 100. Did not make it in the top 100 list of Variety. Chernobyl.
Yeah, I mean,
nonsense.
You can't, dude. Listen, the trades used to have interesting writers, and then they just choked the life out of them, and now it's just safe. Ooh.
Very safe. I agree. Yeah, this is a hell of a cast, though. Carey Mulligan, Paul Dano, Isabella Rossellini in this, Sinead Phelps, John Flanders. This is a nice cast to be a part of this. So I didn't know it was based on a book. So I may read the book before I see this, but I liked it. I like when Sandler slides into drama. He doesn't pick a lot of drama where he's not successful at it. And I kind of like that about Adam. You know, it's good stuff.
I know, but I hear he's miscast in this one.
No. Speaking of things you hear, talk to me about Red Notice, or about the red one. The what is it called? The Dwayne Johnson. I was reading a newsletter that you think that maybe some people are manipulating some of the reactions to this movie, with this Christmas movie coming from Dwayne Johnson and Chris Evans. What happened? Will you tell the people?
Wasn't this movie supposed to come out this December?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure, strike. Oh, it impacted our ability to do press. We got to do press. Listen, I got this report a couple days before the release date was announced that someone had seen it at a test screening. It was a very negative report. I wasn't going to run it. I wasn't going to say anything.
Yeah.
Because I'm rooting for Dwayne, but at the same time, it one's deadline was like the test scores were through the roof. I'm like, listen, they may have been through the roof. I don't know what the test scores were. Maybe every other person in that theater thought it was a masterpiece, but this person wrote and was just like fucking garbage. And I'd heard a while back, I think months before, that this was not going to be good.
Is this and this is a source you trust, whose reviews you trust? Or
No. Completely new person. No. It's nothing like that. That's why I wasn't going to run it, because it's like, well, who are you? You're just some, just some random kind of test screening person. But it was in response to the fact that the test scores were so good, and I do think that the fact that The Rock is doing that movie with Benny Safdie at A24.
Yeah,
I just think this is another one. Like, you know what? I can't keep going down this path, because this is not going to end well. There's only so many of these fucking bombs that I can put out.
Yeah, it's true.
Right?
That's true.
So I think he saw this movie and was like, let's do the A24.
I got to save myself.
let's go do the Benny Safdie movie.
Yeah, see, because I know this. I just have this feeling about The Rock that he knows when he's in a bad movie, when a movie is bad, but it is imperative for his brand that he has never made a bad movie, and he will always promote it. And it's always something else is the reason for why people didn't go see his movie. It's never because the movie is bad. And I appreciate that. There's a consistency in that I can appreciate and understand. Doesn't mean he's fake. It means The Rock knows how to play the business, and the business is about making money. So
listen, who has terrible taste in scripts?
Who? Chris
Evans.
Whoa! Wow. Okay. Ghosted? You saying Ghosted was no good?
Chris Evans. I mean, it's like, come be the number 2 to The Rock in this Amazon movie.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, this is not going to be good.
Is the hidden truth that Chris is a good actor in Marvel, but a middling actor outside of Marvel? I mean, is that maybe the truth about Chris Evans? I'm not saying that's the truth. I'm asking.
I think Chris Evans is a lot like Brad Pitt.
Ooh.
In the sense that you look at Chris Evans in Knives Out, he's
Mm-hmm.
good in it, right?
Yes, just like fun in Knives Out, right?
Just like Brad Pitt is good in 12 Monkeys.
Yes.
Brad Pitt's a better character actor than he is a movie star. He's a movie star, no question, but he's actually a better character actor, and I suspect that that's true about Chris Evans.
That's a great point. Snowpiercer, right?
Yes.
Shit, yeah, right. Like you said, Knives Out, yeah, there's good stuff from Chris. But yeah, you look at Snatch,
Pain Hustlers, Ghosted. It's like, what the fuck is this? What are you doing?
What about Expats? I mean, this is from Lulu Wang here. This looks pretty interesting. Do you like it?
Okay. And I did because I really like The Farewell. So I'm down to check out what Lulu's follow-up project is. It's been in the works for a while. Nicole Kidman's on a hell of a run on TV. This doesn't have the hook that her other shows have, or maybe they're just kind of being coy about like what the big tragedy is that befell her and her family. But I do think that this is going to be interesting, and I'd like to say I'm going to plan to watch it.
I liked the trailer, and of course I support my friend Saryu. But I also have to give my opinion, which is I hope this is not a white woman making sure that all these people, come to task and make the hard effort to find her child. Like, I hope there's more to this than that. So I would hate to see, because we've seen that movie 5 million motherfucking times. So okay, and I don't think Lulu Wang would do a movie like that. So that's what I hold that hope on for on that side of things. All right, what else do you want to talk about, Jeff? What else we got here on the list that you want to hit on?
I mean, were there any big surprises for you on the Academy shortlist today?
Yeah, yes, Peaches. What the fuck? You can't tell me that there are 15 better songs than Peaches from the Mario Brothers movie. I spent an hour today listening to about 2 minutes of each of the songs. Okay, I can give you 5 to 7 of those songs that are not better and more interesting and more catchy than Peaches. That Asteroid City song, get the fuck out of here, man. I mean, Peaches is so good. And why the Academy would fuck up by not having Jack Black be on the stage to perform the song, which would get people to watch the show, I just don't understand that logic. And don't get out of here with that artistic nonsense. Sometimes they do choose certain things. So people
get out of here with that artistic nonsense. This is the Academy Awards, folks. Dude, if you want fucking Jack Black on a stage singing Peaches, go to the fucking Golden Globes. That's what that shit is for. I love Peaches. It's a great song. It's a great song. It probably should have been on the short list.
Yes.
But like, if we're really gonna like burn down the Academy because Peaches isn't getting an Oscar nomination, like you really expect the music branch and the professional musicians to nominate a movie where it's just like Peaches.
First of all,
it's like,
I'm not burning down the Academy. Second of all, I'm saying that that song is more than just that. There's a construction here, and don't act like Jack Black isn't a guy who's been constructing really interesting music for decades. So
love Jack Black, love Tenacious D.
That song is very much out of the Tenacious D songbook.
It's not an Oscar song. I mean,
Blame Canada was an Oscar song. That got nominated from the South Park movie.
It sure did. It's fucking banger of the song.
Thank you. And so is Peaches.
Not when you're up against Diane Warren's hit from the Flamin' Hot soundtrack, my friend. When you're competing against 3 Barbie songs, 2 Color Purple songs, at least 1 hot Wonka jam.
Let me tell you
something. I'm pissed that the Iron Claw song didn't get in there. If you want to talk about being pissed. The song that plays over the end of the Iron Claw
that's a great point.
was really good. It's from Richard Reed Parry, who's a member of a little tiny band called Arcade Fire.
I don't want to go back and forth with Diane Warren. I already did that on DMs a year ago. But and I'm not a reggaeton fan, so no offense to Becky G. There was nothing about that song that I found interesting. The Dua Lipa song sounds like every other Dua Lipa song that's about dancing and partying that she releases. I think that the Billie Eilish song is the number 1 song of all the songs of the year. So I'm not trying to go after Barbie. And I think the first Color Purple song, not that good. The second one, I think, definitely deserved the nomination. So I would put Peaches above all those songs, man. I really would.
Barbie didn't make hair or makeup either.
Yeah, that's kind of shocking.
I was surprised.
Yeah. The Wonka song. How does that get above? Yeah, whatever. Yeah, Hustle and Flow. How's that an Oscar song? Yeah, Hustle and Flow. I mean, whoop that trick.
About the context. It's about the context. If Peaches had been in a live action movie, maybe it would have gotten in.
See, and that's bullshit. That's bullshit. Just like those people who don't want to put Spider-Verse in their best films of the year because it's an animated film. Get the fuck out of here, man. Get past that shit. Yeah. Grow up. Yeah, It's Hard Out Here for a Pimp. That's an Oscar song? All right. This one's it. All right. What about you? Did you have any snubs? Do you have any issues besides the Barbie one?
No.
Really? Okay.
I mean, I have to go through them closer, but no. Okay. Not off the top of my head.
All right. Let's see what more we got on the list here in the rundown. Oh yeah. So Rebel Moon already. Oh, Aquaman. Spielberg. Some updates on the Spielberg Bullitt thing. Some of you have asked about it over the weeks. The Bradley Cooper situation. The producer of that film said in a recent interview this week that they don't think it'll be Bradley Cooper's next project. So it's probably going to be a while before we see Spielberg's Bullitt. Right, Jeff? that what it feels like to you, if at all?
He says it does. I mean, you never know with Steven because Steven gets pulled in so many different directions and can change gears very quickly. Yeah. So someone said it won't be Bradley's next movie. I mean,
yeah, the producer.
What is that? But yeah, it's like, what does that mean? Because I mean, it could still shoot in the fall, and Bradley could just shoot something in the spring, and then it's not his next movie.
But do we know?
I think no, I don't think we know. I don't think that there's necessarily a start date, but I would expect. Do I think that Steven's going to sit out on the sideline for all of 2024? No. I think he's going to shoot something. I think it will be Bullitt.
Yeah, Christy McCosco-Krieger, who is one of Steven Spielberg's producing partners. She was speaking to Games Radar Plus. I think she's in with the situation. She said, "I'm producing it. Josh Singer's writing the script. They are working on the story. I hope we have a script soon, as the writer's strike put us behind a bit. But they are working on it. I couldn't tell you if it's the next movie we're making, as I don't know at this point. I think, though, that it will be a wildly entertaining film."
So she said, "I couldn't tell you if it's the next movie we're making, not him." Right. Okay, so then Steven may have something else. I mean, this is a guy who can make 2 movies in a year, right?
True.
So he may have something else ready to go while Josh Singer is writing the script, because it does sound like the script's not quite done and that Josh is still working on it. Yeah. I thought, if they have the script done, maybe in the next few months and then pre-pro in the summer and they can shoot by the fall.
Yeah.
That timeline makes sense to me, but maybe Steven really doesn't want to wait and just, has something else.
What are your thoughts on, speaking of Bradley Cooper, what are your thoughts on some of these tweets that have been going around over the last few days, like coming after Bradley for his performance in Maestro? I mean, do you think people are getting a little out of control?
What are they coming after him for?
They're making fun of his performance. They're saying it's ridiculous. It's Oscar bait. It is overdoing it. These kinds of things.
I mean, I don't know how he's overdoing it. I mean, he has to overdo it a little because he's, so much younger than the character and so different. I think if you just cast another actor who's that age, who looks more like Lenny Bernstein, like, is that actor overdoing it? No. I think Bradley, I think his performance is really good, but I don't think it's going to win. I never thought it was going to win.
Right. Who's your odds on favorite right now?
To me, I think it's very clearly Giamatti. I don't understand. People are like, "Oh, this is Killian's Oscar to lose," no. Paul Giamatti creates a character out of whole cloth.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put my money on him.
Okay. All right. Just wanted to check with you, man. Just wanted to check with you, see what you thought. All right. Do we have anything else that we were going to talk about? Anything else you want to bring up from your newsletter or anything?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. All right. Well, let's
other than that, like Golden Globe story about like the 64 voters, right, who are threatening to withhold
tell me.
vote unless they get. Oh yeah, wow. 64 Golden Globe voters are threatening to withhold their vote because they are being denied tickets to the ceremony.
Oh,
right, because they do the Globes at the Beverly Hilton. Did the Beverly Hilton do an addition? Did they add seats to the ballroom? No. So I don't know. Like, are Golden Globes voters dense when you have 86 people in a group and now the group is 300?
Yeah, people are gonna be left out.
Do we just give 200 seats that were that used to go to celebrities to go to faceless voters and they're plus ones? Like, what are you talking about? So there just needs to be maybe a lottery system. Divide the membership into thirds and say, Group A, you're going this year. Group B, you'll be next year. Group C, you'll be 2 years from now. Maybe 2 groups can go per year. And A and B go, and C, you're not going this year. But it's just like you guys you're wined and dined and flown all over the world to take photos and selfies with celebrities all year. You get a $75,000 salary. Okay, you're asked to do one thing a year, which is vote for the fucking awards. That takes 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And you're going to say, I'm not doing this one thing that you asked me because I don't get to go to the ceremony. Like, what does it even matter? You just spent the last 9 months meeting all of these people.
Yeah.
Right. In very intimate settings.
Yeah.
So it's just fucking wild to me that it's never enough. All these fucking voters are so entitled.
Yeah.
And what do they even do? They write like maybe 6 articles a year for some publication overseas that no one reads.
Any person connected to the Golden Globes who is watching right now, who is looking for another critic to jump in to vote, reach out to me. I will happily never go to the ceremony, quite happily give up my seat, and you can wine and dine me and fly all over the world and pay me $75,000 to watch movies and review them and vote on them. I will happily
review them. Don't even have to review them.
And we don't even. And I would never even ask you for a ticket to the ceremony. I don't need to go to any award ceremony other than, of course, the HGA's. I wouldn't need to go to any other award ceremony. I really don't. Maybe the Oscars some point in the future would be great to go. But at this point, it's not that big of a deal. Yeah. It's just a big party where everyone's trying to get pictures with each other and schmooze each other and feel superior. And
the whole thing is a scam.
I don't go to premieres anymore, dude. I don't go to premieres anymore. No.
It all just drives the Hollywood economy, because the Globes is a night where, people have to go get their hair done and they have to get their makeup done. And so Dry Bar, benefits from it. And just like, it's an entire economy, and they just want to keep that gravy train going because the show has some cachet with the public. I mean, you could create an entirely new show, right? Yeah. Call it the Rocha Awards, and you could have all the same people voting for them, but the Rocha Awards doesn't have the name value of the Golden Globes, and that's the only reason that the Golden Globes still exists.
Yeah. It's a good point. So, any members of the Hollywood Foreign Press Membership Society, DM me. I'll go in. I will never take a seat. Tushka says, Rocha, man of the people and making the sacrifices needed. Damn right. You goddamn right. Okay. What about Joe Coy? Are you like Joe Coy as the host of the Golden Globes, or do you feel like this was a little bit,
I actually do like Joe Coy. Like I think it's not that I watch his stand-up, but like I watched Easter.
He's great. Yeah.
I watched Easter Sunday. Like he was good at CinemaCon when he showed up. He was hilarious, and I thought Easter Sunday was like funny enough. Like it was a guilty pleasure for me.
Sure.
Do I think that he'll be able to do a good job? Like I do actually. I think he'll be fine. But does this get a single person to tune in? Like I don't really think so. No. Like it feels like they're just really scraping the bottom of the barrel. Like next year, just ask me and John to come. We'll put on the same show.
Oh, I host the fuck out of the Golden Globes. You better believe I host.
Both of us will. We'll host the fuck out of it. Don't we worry.
Jeff, you alien. The hot mic guys hosting the Golden Globes is the last Golden Globes I've ever seen on TV.
I don't think so. I think we'd be like Ricky Gervais, where it's like, what the fuck did these guys just say? At least we wouldn't be up there like Gerard Carmichael, just like making fun of the whole thing. Just like, give me my check. I could do it. I wouldn't be like, the Mark Ellis, like, I was born to host stuff, he's so good at it. He was always so good doing the Schmodown Awards. But yeah, if you let me do my fucking thing, I'll get some zingers out there.
Mark Ellis. I know he's the best. All right. Let's take one more break and then we'll hit all these Streamlabs and Superchats.
How many breaks are there? How many questions are there? We're way over our allotted time. God,
there's 10. Going. There's 10. All right. Give me a break. Hold on. Jesus Christ.
A marathon, man.
God forbid the people love us. God forbid.
I'm lean back on my sofa.
Yeah, well,
Need a chair.
All right, we're back now. Quit you crying. Thank you to everybody who's sending in Streamlabs Super Chats. Even if Jeff isn't thankful for them, I am thankful for them. Let's go back.
I'm very thankful.
Okay. Oh yeah, Samuel wants to know when are both your best films of 2023 going to be revealed, Jeff? I'm doing mine next week early. What about you?
I'm a guy who says I watch films up to December 31st, so you'll get it on probably January 1st. And it may very well be the first edition of the paid newsletter.
There you go. David, Becca May says, how about Alan Richson or out of left field choice, Paul Walter Hauser playing Chris Benoit in a biopic? Neither one of those are the right choice. No, for God's sakes. Alan is way too tall. And Paul Walter Hauser, no way he would get into Benoit shape. No offense. Paul's been wrestling and he's been, certainly looks good. But Benoit shape, that's a lot. So
I don't know Benoit enough to do a cast.
You never heard the wrestler who killed his wife?
No, I know of him, but I don't know what he looks like.
With the newest, Josh Mabry says, with the newest South Park dropping, is the 30 to 40 minute episode every 3 to 6 month episode the new model going forward for Trey and Matt? What do you think there, Jeff?
I mean, yeah, I think so. I think that was, and also it was like a workaround with like their Warner Brothers deal, which Warner Brothers like kind of, I think that they sued Paramount over because they're like, we should be getting all of these, specials essentially, and Paramount's like, no, these are specials. These aren't the show. So like you're going to get episodes of the show on the reruns, but the specials live on Paramount Plus.
Yeah.
And I do want to watch the new one. What the hell's the new one called? I forget.
Making fun of Logan Paul and his Prime thing. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it as well. Faisal Hadi says, did you guys cover the Oscars shortlist? Yes, we did, Faisal. We just talked about it a few minutes ago.
We sure did.
And Parfait 1980 says, Jeff, did you see anyone? Did you see anyone but you? How was it? If I'm only going to see it for Sydney Sweeney. Yeah, Jeff, how was? You saw it the other day. Can you talk about it?
Yeah, I can. I did see it. I thought it was okay. I just thought the two of them were likable, and I did enjoy the two of them together.
Not great though, huh?
No, it's definitely not great. It's honestly, I mean, because I didn't know that it was actually based on Shakespeare's Much Ado About Nothing. And now that I know that, I can look back and see certain elements where I'm like, oh yeah, that is like very Shakespearean. And I didn't like that stuff. You know, like there's like a gag where like, who's the guy in FX, the FX movies, Brian Brown?
Oh, Brian Brown, the Australian. He's in this?
Yeah, he's in it. Yeah, he's in it. So it's like Brian Brown and Gata from Dave, who I love. And they're like, they have to pretend to like have these loud performative conversations with each other that Glenn Powell is overhearing. So it's almost like they're like the chorus in a way.
Yeah.
I thought stuff like that was a little goofy. But when it's Glenn and Sydney trading barbs and there were I don't think it's really a trip to the theater, but I think that if you watch this like on Valentine's Day in 2 months when it's on VOD, you'll probably have a fun time.
Okay. Doing Benedict and Kate from Much Ado. Mom Ross said, do you think the Paramount Plus should have promoted their family stuff more to compete with Disney Plus? 90s Nickelodeon stuff, MTV shows, TMNT, Sonic, Paw Patrol? Yeah, your thoughts?
I don't know if they should have promoted it more because I just don't think promotions in general are aimed at kids because it's the adult that's making the decision. So it's like the adult wants to see the Paramount Plus trailer with RuPaul's Drag Race and Yellowstone and Taylor Sheridan shows, and they're probably not paying attention to the Paw Patrol being a part of it. But I do think Paramount has a great stable, and that's why Warner Brothers is interested in it because Zaslav came out and said, we've got the Looney Tunes, but what good is the Looney Tunes when kids aren't coming to the Max service because they're spending all day on YouTube or Nickelodeon or whatever it is. No one's coming to us for kids stuff. So why are we going to invest a ton in that? That's why Warner Brothers would be interesting with Paramount because they have all that children's programming.
Makes sense. Empire Fan says, I saw Wonka and I loved it very much. Well, that's good, Empire.
I thought it stunk.
Yeah, we know what you thought. That's enough out of you. David says, which one do you all think will buy Apple? So which one do you all think? Apple will buy Disney or Sony or Paramount? Which one will Apple buy?
I don't know if Apple will buy any of them, but maybe Sony.
I think it makes sense for Apple to buy Sony for many, many reasons, not just movies, but also like the Sony PlayStation, all that stuff. So, like Apple can really use their technology. This could be a really interesting merger. If it's not Sony, it's got to be Disney. It's Apple, man. They go big or they go home. There's no kind of, let me buy this smaller studio. That doesn't seem like an Apple play in terms of brand, in my opinion. Mike Joyce says, I'm tired of Zaslav. He ruins everything. Jeff could run things better than him. I think that's a compliment.
I don't think you want me running anything, guys.
Can barely co-run.
Because then you'd be like, yes, Jeff's in power. Now we can get X-Men gobbledygook. And I would be like, no.
It's all gone.
There's no gobbledygook coming for you.
It'd be all Boston shows, too. Nobody needs that.
Be like, okay, so the X-Men show up in Southie, right? And Wolverine's like, hey.
Yeah, I want to see Storm going through Southie. a black African woman going through Southie. I want to see that happen. Joseph Ashley says, do you think X-Men vs. Avengers should be big film and Doom being behind it? Also, Doom should be like Mando and Vader with stuntman and voiced by Jeremy Irons. Wish I could donate more. Happy holidays. Thank you, Joseph. Yeah, it should. Yeah, X-Men versus Avengers should be a big. Yeah, but that's way down the road, man. You can't do X-Men versus Avengers without establishing Avengers and establishing X-Men. And Doom, I don't think they'll do Doom. I saw a lot of people claiming like who was going to take Gosling wouldn't want to be behind a mask the whole time. It won't be like that. You'll see Doom without his mask a lot. There's no way you'll see Doom just behind the mask and it's a Pedro Pascal situation. What do you think, Jeff? Am I wrong on that?
I have no idea. I don't even know how much he's like when you were like Doom is going to have like a thing with Sue Storm. I was like, what?
Yeah,
but I get it.
Oh, Jeff. Mike McKenzie says, settle the debate of the year. What is better, 7 Fishes or Forks? Yeah, from Big Bear season 2. Which one is the better episode? Forks or 7 Fishes? Did you watch Bear?
No,
you don't watch the Bear? Oh, Jeff, no. That is, if there is one show on television that is Jeff Snyder's show, it's the fucking Bear. How the hell have you not watched the Bear?
I watched half of the first season. It was okay. I liked it.
It's literally you. It's literally you. It's literally me and you running the fight. I am the main guy, and you're absolutely Eben Moss Backrack. You're Eben Moss Backrack.
Oh, I'm Evan. Oh, okay.
You're 100% Backrack.
I feel like I would be Carmi, but all right.
Where would you be Carmi? Are you insane? You would not be Carmi. You would not be Carmi in any universe.
I'm Carmi.
You're insane.
Call me Big Parmesan.
All right. That's it from us. We have no more Streamlabs Super Chats left. And we've talked all the topics we're going to talk. And we're an hour and 40 minutes in the show. So we should go. Jeff, please let people know. Thank you all, first of all, so much for watching. Thanks for the Streamlabs and Super Chats. Thanks for the lively chat. Please remember to subscribe to the channel right now as you're leaving. Subscribe to the channel. Hit a like on this video. If you're watching later, leave a comment on everything. I will have time codes up in a little bit, but please leave a comment if you're watching. Jeff, where can they find you? Everything.
TheInSnyder.com/subscribe in case you're not already subscribed. The InSnyder on TikTok, The InSnyder on YouTube, The InSnyder everywhere you look. It's wild. I'm like that Garfield thing that hangs in the back of your, like on the window of cars. I'm everywhere.
What do you have anything coming out tonight or tomorrow?
Yeah, I have the newsletters coming out tonight. What do we got in the newsletter? I'm trying. That's the thing. God, this fucking newsletter is going to kill me. In this hour 45 podcast, it's going to kill me. I'll be working on this thing until like 7:30 tonight. I have
committed to this podcast first, so
I'm trying to finish Up and Comer of the Month. I really am excited for you to see who I chose for Up and Comer of the Month. I'm bringing that feature back. We have the Oscar shortlist stuff, a little bit on the Diesel, and then a new comedy segment. I want to talk about comedians. I love comedy, John.
You do? All right. Like Joe Coy. You love comedies like that.
Just like Joe Coy.
All right, there you go. As for me, you can find me at The Rocha Says on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, as you see below. No newsletter from me yet. I couldn't compete with Jeff. But you can follow me on Twitch, The Outlaw Nation on Twitch. But of course, number one, subscribe to the channel. We are starting 9 days of What If reviews from the Geek Buddies starting tomorrow morning. Every day you will have a review of a What If episode that is on The Outlaw Nation to carry you through the holidays. So look for that. We also have our main show coming up on Saturday. Look for that as well. And I'll have reviews for Rebel Moon and for Aquaman 2, which was a garbage, coming up later on this weekend. But look out for all of that. Thank you all so much. We appreciate it. We love you. If this is the last thing you watch before Christmas on Monday, happy holidays. Be safe. If you need anything to help you through the holidays, put on an episode of the Hot Mic. Let it entertain you. Let us yell at each other for your entertainment so you don't do anything drastic and you can feel some joy in life and know that there's more to keep going on, for God's sakes, because you know the holidays are tough. We love you madly, all of you, and we want you to join us in 2024. So please take care of yourselves, enjoy your holidays, and we'll talk to you next week with a brand new episode of The Hot Mic. Peace.